2020 has been a year of diplomatic victories for Israel. It has forged diplomatic ties with 4 Arab powers: Bahrain, the Sudan, the UAE, and more recently Morocco. 2 days ago, Israel added another ally on its side. Bhutan too has established diplomatic ties with Israel. What do these alliances mean for West Asia? How can India and Israel leverage these new partnerships? And can Israel keep the Abraham Accords intact with the change of guard in Washington, D.C.? To discuss all this and more, we have on Gravitas with us Dr. Ron Malka, the Israeli ambassador to India. Dr. Malka, welcome to WION. 4 Arab countries have now normalized ties with Israel. Many experts say that a new West Asia is taking shape. What role does Israel see for itself in this new West Asia?
Well, I think that the involvements in West Asia are now are very good news, positive news for not only the Middle East, West Asia, but also to the whole world. First, because countries are getting now united and collaborate and, of course, contribute whatever they can bring new technologies and innovation to the world. It also sends a message of peace and friendship between nations, which is very, very important, especially nowadays. And specifically to the Middle East, West Asia, it really sends a message, a clear message to the Palestinians that the world is not going to wait anymore. And not only the world, but the Muslim world and more particularly the Arab world. Because it sends a message to the Palestinians that they have some unrealistic dreams, some fantasies that maybe there will be a total annihilation of Israel and Israel will not exist, and then they will get whatever their fantasies show them. And a country like Iran is really supporting these dreams and fantasies. Hopefully they will come to ground and sit to negotiate with its neighbors, with Israel, and compromise and find solutions like other countries do. And this is a very strong message to West Asia and the specific conflict between the Israelis and Palestinians, telling the Palestinians that now we see you as those that are to blame for not having peace with Israel. Please, we are not going to wait anymore. Sit and compromise and find solution, because we want to see peace in all the region, peace and prosperity. This is what we are yearning to.
We'll come to the question of Palestine later. Let's look at what this relationship means for your partners elsewhere. How can India and Israel, for example, leverage these new relationships? Recently, the Indian Army chief traveled to West Asia to forge a new defense partnership. You yourself have talked about a trilateral pact between India, Israel and the UAE. What would this agreement entail?
So India and Israel are key strategic partners, and we are focusing on innovation and technology. Emirates also a country that is focusing on innovation and technology. So bringing each other's comparative advantage to the table. We can bring so much added value to each other. So of course, also for India, the peace agreement between Israel and the Gulf countries is good news, because now together we can work out many, many issues, challenges that are similar to all those countries, and we know that each one brings something to the table. We are not the same, so each one has his comparative advantage, his know-how, his experience, practices, and these technologies and solutions. We are strengthening each other. And this is so positive, of course, for each one that is coming to this friendship as a new member, as a new player with his advantages.
Right. This is also a period of uncertainty, a period of change, with Joe Biden set to replace Donald Trump by the White House and Israel going into its 4th general election in 2 years. How does Israel plan to navigate these variables?
I think that the Israeli diplomatic community has been always navigating in hard waters and in cracks and finding creative solutions and innovative solutions and ways to conduct our deeds. And so in this sense, it's not something that we didn't see or didn't experience. Of course, there are changes and we know how to adapt, and adaptivity and flexibility and multi-optional thinking. These are the skills that we bring to the table. and of course resilience, and also the ability to manage our affairs within those cracks that are there. So this is diplomacy, and this is how we do that. And as I said, we faced even bigger challenges in the past, so I'm quite sure that we are going to overcome also this time, this hard time.
Right. You also serve as the ambassador, Israel's ambassador to Sri Lanka. India puts a special emphasis on its relationship with the neighbors. At the same time, there are challenges as well. We have the border standoff with China, Chinese aggression in the Indian Ocean. What role do you see Israel playing in India's neighborhood?
First of all, I have trust that India knows how to conduct its affairs very well, very wisely, very gently, with, I think, the attitude of peace, but of course being strong and assertive. Israel is there as a key strategic partner of India, to share with India our experience, our practices, our technologies, our systems, because this is the values of friendship that we have. So understanding that and knowing that many challenges that India is now facing are challenges that we faced in the past, and we gave solutions and we managed, and we are willing to share our experience, our practices. I think this is what we can bring to this table, and India will know what it needs and how to use this experience and the technologies and the solutions that we share for its needs.
Recently, Bhutan has also established formal diplomatic ties with Israel. What can we expect from the Israel-Bhutan partnership?
Well, as the agreement with Bhutan brings another friend country to the table. Israel and Bhutan has been warm friends for many years. And of course, we shared with Bhutan many practices, especially in agriculture and water management and other areas that are in their concern. So whenever two friends of India are getting together, I think it's good news also, of course, for India. And in that sense, of course, we can collaborate together and see how things can be evolved in such a way that we can bring some contribution to each other.
Right, Dr. Malka, there's a lot more to talk about, but we're out of time. Thanks very much for joining us here on Gravitas.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you for watching Gravitas on WION's YouTube channel. If you want to stay up to date with what's happening around the world, then subscribe to our channel and don't forget to like and share. Thank you very much for watching WION. The world is one.